George Washington, son to Augustine and Mary, his wife, was born on the 11th day of February, 1731, about 10 in the morning, and was baptized the 5th of April following Mr. Beverly Whiting and Captain Christopher Brooks, godfathers, and Mrs. Mildred Gregory, godmother. With those words, the occasion of George Washington's birth was recorded in the family Bible. Okay, so this could be a bit confusing with the date, so let me explain. The date 11th day of February was old style. By the Gregorian calendar adopted by Great Britain in 1752 and now here in use today in the United States, the date was February 22nd, 1732, new style. Jasmine was just beginning to bloom, and these dark purple berries were forming on the native cedar trees where Mary Ball Washington gave birth to her first child, a boy she named George Washington. The place where George was baptized on the 5th of April is unknown, but it was probably right here in the Pope's Creek home. If not there, it may have occurred in Maddox Church, located at Church Point, about 2.5 miles away, but it was an Episcopal christening. Very little is known about the godparents. Beverly Whiting served as Burgess from Gloucester County, and Christopher Brooke was captain of a Virginian ship, the Cambridge. The godmother, Mildred Washington Gregory, was George's aunt. The 10-room house where George Washington was born right here would later become known as Wakefield. More on that in a later program, but Washington would later describe it as the ancient mansion seat. The first 3.5 years of George's life were spent here at the Pope's Creek plantation. At some unknown date, between March 25th and November 18th, 1735, Augustine moved his family up the Potomac River about 50 miles to his farm on Hunting Creek, known today as Mount Vernon. 3 years later, Augustine purchased a 288-acre farm near Fredericksburg, and about December 1st, 1738, when George was almost 7 years old, he moved there with his family. In 1742, Augustine acquired more land between Pope's Creek and Bridges Creek within sight of the home right here where George Washington was born. With the exception of one piece of property on the river, all of Pope's Creek, Bridges Creek Peninsula was now owned by George's father. In 1743, a few weeks after George's 11th birthday, Augustine Washington was stricken with a stomach disorder and died on the 12th of April. He was interred just down the road in the family burying ground at Bridges Creek, where his father Lawrence and his grandfather John were also buried. Augustine left the Pope's Creek, Bridges Creek plantation to his second son and namesake, Augustine Jr., one of George's older half-brothers, but the family continued to keep the farm. Augustine inherited it, and the family continued to farm the land.